Let's go, guys. Second live stream of the day. Let's go. What's up, Interstellar? I'm waiting for the iPad to warm up. But if y'all got drum questions for me, hit me up with it, man. Let's do it. Interstellar Alien. Keith God. That is quite a name, my brother. Is there some lore to go with all that, or you got a book on sale right now? What's going on with all that, my brother? What's going on with all that? Oh, it's a pot thing. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Sammy? Yeah, I love that question. Have any advice incorporating bass drum into your drum fills? That is one of the main things you can do not from the very beginning, but from, a year or so in of your drumming. Rock With You would be a lot of fun. Yeah, that would be a fun song. Because you go from just playing fills which is fine, right? Just singles, right? You go from just playing singles around the drums to having more of a personality. And how do you do that, right? Linear has been one of the main things that helps you do that, believe it or not. So just starting with like flam bass, for example. Flams and then bass drums, really slowly, really evenly, something like that. Yeah, see, the Bonham triplet is an example of linear, actually. And so linear is one of the most important styles you can practice. And instead of beginners sitting down and practicing linear patterns, what do? They sit there and play songs all day, which is fine. It's fun. I get it. But if you put more exercises into your playing from flam bass, right? Flam bass is a really great exercise to start practicing, all right? Why? Because flam bass ultimately starts to get this motion of, oh, my bass drum is actually incorporated here, okay? Let me give you some essential ones you really need to know. Snare, high, floor, kick. All day, okay? Snare, high, floor, kick. Snare, high, floor, kick. Snare, high, floor, kick. Even if you just practice it kind of like this, which is kind of lame, eventually it turns into, which is the more cool version of it, right? Everyone wants to play that. No one wants to play. But hey, guess what? You got to start somewhere, all right? Or you can put the bass drum before it. You can put the bass drum before it and after it. The problem is it just takes time to get clean with that kind of stuff, right? So flam bass, hand, foot, like someone said, Bonham triplets. Hand, foot is an excellent thing to start practicing more and more. Yes. Because it's such an important lick, man. And everyone wants to play it fast right away, you know? It's not a lick you're going to be able to play fast right away. It's a lick that's going to take time. Hand, foot. So there you go. There's the answer to your question. Basically, in the very beginning, is you got to put more flam bass into your playing. You got to put more snare, high, floor into your playing, or like flams and snare and high and floor. This right here is a great exercise, guys. All I'm doing is playing flam bass, snare, high, floor, bass. Flam bass, snare, high, floor, bass. That incorporates both of the two licks I just told you to practice. That's a great lick to practice right there, okay? Now, the deal is you still do singles. So what you do is you still move around with singles. You just add that kind of stuff in. I said flam bass, flam high, flam bass, snare, high, floor bass. All right? Shouting, tackle, dope, bop. And most of the time we come back to the snare. So maybe even snare, high, floor, bass, flam. It's just a bunch of flams and basses and snare and high and floor. All right? That's the deal. Shaka, dickum, blah. Like that lick right there, every pro uses these licks, guys. The thing is, the licks you see pros using that sound really clean, they're not usually that fancy. Are they, Brandon? Brandon knows. Brandon knows all the fancy, cool licks. But I'm talking about licks that sound fancy that aren't really that fancy, to be honest. Like that. You know? I love that question, though. I love that question. Thanks for that question. And it's such an important question because, you know, you go from all your fills having just singles, basically, to finally starting to add more bass drum in your playing. You got it locked. What's up, Brandon? Brendan. Another question was, what's the weirdest time signature you actually enjoy playing? I love that question because what that question highlights is how sometimes in music you just do things just because they sound cool or they look cool on paper, but they might not actually sound good in reality, you know? And that's how odd time signatures can be sometimes. Like sometimes you'll see guys writing exercises out, and I'll look at it and I'll be like, when am I ever going to play that? You know? Like, that's why whenever I write books, you know, to be honest, I always try to make my ideas as musical and as groovy as possible. Because you're right, there's a lot of times where you can have an idea and it might look cool, but it'll sound weird, you know? Are y'all seeing this man's beard? You digging it? Is it about filling space between the notes? That's a great question. That is what linear is all about, definitely, because you're essentially filling space in with bass drums, right? So like just practicing singles between the hand and foot is a great place to get started. Even though that's not super practical, it's still a good place to get started. Or left kick, right kick, left kick, you know, flam bass. All these seemingly easy exercises are really great places to start. You know, hand, foot, foot. That's another lick all the pros use, including me. All right, we all use stuff like this. We just speed it up. Tips on double strokes. Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to start slow, right? Right, left, right, left. Keep this over here and keep this over here. Right, left. You just do it, man. See, eventually your hand just learns what a double stroke is. That's the thing. Like, that's why I can talk and do it at the same time, because my hands just learned what a double stroke is. It's the same reason I can play. You know, that doesn't take that much energy, because my foot just knows how to play dukkha, you know? It's a double, right? So doubles become their own thing because they basically become a motion. The double becomes a motion after a while. Not two in reality. It becomes really one motion. Really. That takes time though, you know? You got to get to where you're at that point where you can start doing it. I mean, you don't practice doubles as one motion. It just eventually happens. It's why the marching guys practice stuff like this. When the marching guys are practicing this kind of double beat exercise, the reason they're doing that, I mean, if you want to learn anything about technique, just look and see what the DCI, what the marching guys do. There's a reason why those guys have the best technique, all right? These kind of exercises force you to think of doubles as kind of a motion, like a motion with your hand, you know? Yeah, exactly, powwow. Someone asked what doubles is. There you go. Right, left, left. But I know what they mean, you know? When they say, can you help me with doubles? They already know it's right, left, left, but, you know, it just takes time, man. You got to kind of find ways in your playing to make it work. Because the weirdest thing about doubles is at first, it doesn't feel like you're ever going to really use that, right? And you can't argue with that much. At first, it's not like I did use doubles that much. You know what I mean? But you find ways and reasons why you use it along the way, man. Especially when you start learning rolls. You know, you learn a roll, you can really start to do stuff with that on the kit, you know? Ever had a singer or guitarist completely lose time and you had to save the whole song? Well, I can't say yes or I'll never get hired in this town again. No, I'm just kidding. I can't think of a time that's ever happened, to be honest with you, man. The thing is if a singer messes up, everyone in the band... See, the reason why that has never happened is because it's almost impossible for all 4 or 5 people in a band to mess up at the same time. And so that's really the wrong way of thinking about it, right? If someone messes up in a band, you got 3 or 4 or 5 other guys that are playing the right way. You just get back in, right? So that's 90% of the time what happens. 99% of the time, one guy messes up, he gets back in. It's all about recovery. It's all about recovery. If the singer messes up, that is pretty rough, but you just recover. You just keep going. The band will just keep going because that's what we do. It's what we're trained to do. If the bassist messes up, mostly no one ever recognizes that. You just go up a half step or down a half step. You're good to go. You're right. If a drummer messes up, it's way more noticeable. But, you know, it depends on what you're doing, right? If you're playing a fill and it goes too long, cut everything and keep the cymbal moving and get back in. You know what I'm saying? As long as you keep a hand pattern moving, guys, you can kind of get away with a lot. You know, if I mess up, all right, here we go. You know, we're back in, baby. You know, hey, thanks for the hand heart, Sammy. I appreciate it. Thanks for the follow. This is the second live stream of the day, guys. I'm going hard, and I'm partly doing that because Monday will be my last day teaching before I have to get surgery. So that'll suck. So y'all aren't going to see me around for like 2 weeks after that. Apparently. That's what everyone's telling me anyways. So that'll suck. Don't be sleeping on your flam rudiments either. Flam rudiments are good for you. Snare tricks. I don't know what a snare trick is. I prefer pocket all day, man. The pedal technique that I use is hill up. Yeah, Ed in the house. Jimmy, this is the TD17 kit. It's funny you say that, Brian, because I was literally just teaching that to a student right before I started this live. What's up, Brian? Sammy, I'd love to work with you. I could take you to new places, man. I tell all these people online, you know, I'm not just trying to be a salesman, you know? Like I told the same thing to Darren. I'm like, bro, because I really love Darren anyways as a person, but he's just a great guy. But I was like, dude, I'd love to work with you. Like, I'm not even being a businessman right now. I'm just being sincere. Like, I would love to work with you. Just let me work with you. I can play lots of Nirvana, man. I would start playing songs like every other schmo does. But when I answer questions, I actually get better viewership on here. I do teach intermediate drum lessons, yeah. I'm on a plane. It's a favorite of mine. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Yeah, I can play YYZ. Yeah. Yeah, Interstellar, hit me up, man. I mean, like I said, I'm about to have surgery. But, hey, after that, whoever wants lessons, get in my schedule. Joseph, tips for breaking through plateaus. I think all of us musicians want to know that answer. You know, I guess technically you're always in a plateau, right? I don't know. It depends on where you are. I'd have to work with you, man. The main, you know, there's a couple of main plateaus that happen in your drumming journey. The first one is independence, right? Just straight up going from, yeah, I can play basket case, yeah. Just straight up going from this kind of stuff to eventually in other words, finding your freedom with the bass drum and the snare. That's the first biggest plateau you have as a drummer. Anyone has as a drummer is independence in general, all right? Then the second major plateau, after you have some decent independence under your belt, which can take years, really, I mean, in reality, unless you just truly work on it with someone like me who can direct you very clearly on exactly and save you a lot of time. I mean, that's why you pay someone like me, dude. I can get my drummers really good really fast. That's what I do, all right? The second major plateau is you realize eventually, and I worked with a guy just last week or this week, I can't remember on this. He was a really good drummer, but he looked at me and he's like, I got nothing with my hands, right? Because drum set players forget that you can learn all the songs in the world and be able to play all kinds of cool independence and be able to play all kinds of fun stuff and still have really crappy hands, you know? Not be able to do anything with your hands at all. You know, not even rudiments, just, you know, anything. Just anything with your hands at all. And that's because drum set players typically don't prioritize not only rudiments, but hand technique in general. And that's why eventually I look at my drummers and I say, listen, you know, you're doing a great job, but now we got to get on the pad, baby. I don't say baby, but now we got to get on the pad and work it up. We got to work it up. Got to work on those hands. So I would say your first big plateau in drumming is always independence. Your second big plateau is the realization that rudiments actually matter. And if there's a plateau after that, I would say, like all of us advanced drummers, learning to use more layers and being able to play more advanced styles, you know. Latin is a huge plateau for most drummers. And jazz is another huge plateau for most drummers, most musicians. And you can't forget this guy. This is the enemy of so many drummers. You could do it with the level button, I think. How do you make the side stick louder? Ghost fills. Isn't it like a... I don't even know. I'm trying to think of that one weird Ringo beat. That was not it at all. Ghost notes are all about stick height. The lower you keep your stick, the more relaxed your note is, the more ghosty it's going to get. Y'all scared yet? It's like a Limp Bizkit song. Hey, Ozzy, thanks for the follow. He says shuffles and ghost notes are his downfall. Well, the main reason for that is because really when you're doing a shuffle, there's just so much going on. Like, you typically have a shoulder accent on the hat, a ghost on the snare, and a more up kind of tap kind of note coming back up. So the reason why it's so complicated, and then you have the accent on the snare too. So if you really count that out, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 different articulations. Okay? That's 4 different articulations, dude. That's why that groove is so hard, besides the fact that we normally put independence with it, you know? Do disco? Do you think drumming is more about discipline or expression? I love that question, man. I really do. I've never thought about any instrument as being a discipline, to be honest with you, man. Because discipline, to me, means like you make yourself do it every single day, you know? Discipline usually has a negative connotation to it. And I respect people who think of it that way, but that's never been my vibe, man. I tell my students all the time, you got to think about it not as homework. You know, that's so stupid. Teachers, stop telling students music is homework. You know how dumb that is? What kid wants to do homework? Are you dumb? You need to tell the kid what I tell him. Do you think about playing video games every single night as a discipline, something you have to do? No, you don't. You got to think about it. You got to connect with your instrument just like you connect with something that allows you to relax. And here's why. It's not just a mental thing. It's also, you're going to play a lot better. You're going to connect with your instrument a lot better in your music if you think about it as something that helps you relax. And if it is something that allows you to relax, your music's going to be less tense. You're going to be able to play better. It's going to sound better. So I tell my students all the time, you got to think about it as, yes, you do want to play every single day. Don't get me wrong. But you don't want to think about it as homework. Think about it as something that allows you to relax and express yourself at the end of the day. And that's my opinion. So I love that question. Do I play for pleasure still? You know, I do fight with that sometimes, but then I always find my way back because obviously I do this for a living. And so it does turn into a job. You know, you don't always want to stream, whatever. You don't always want to do lessons, to be honest, if I'm being real with you. Yeah. I mean, I had a lesson earlier today with a little girl who all she does is just play the songs and never listen to me. But at least she's learning to hear the beat more and not just playing random stuff. So there's some progression there. The point is, in reality, it's sometimes it is work, man. You know? And that's the point, you know? Sometimes it is work. It is. It is work. But, you know, you have to find your way around that. Like I don't think about this as a performance right now. I think about this as me connecting and having fun with you guys. And that's why I'm not putting a lot of pressure on myself. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, man, do I sound good or do I sound bad? Or who cares, man? Just freaking play. It's music. You know, we've put a lot of pressure on ourselves in society of thinking we have to be good at everything all the time. You ain't going to be good at nothing when you first start out. You know, you're not supposed to be good at anything. You're supposed to have fun with it, and maybe you'll get better, maybe you won't. I don't know. That's just real. I don't know. Hopefully you'll get better if you play it enough, you practice enough. Now go crazy. There you go. I hate that. I hate that one hand roll crap. I hate that crap. A go-to drum fill? Yeah, I mean, you know, you all, as drummers, we all kind of connect to certain fills, you know? Like early on, I connected to this idea because I'm a lefty, you know? There's certain ideas you kind of connect to over time. Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of the stuff you guys hear me play, you know? All I'm doing is playing high, mid, floor, kick. Bigger the boom, 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 bigger the boom. It's a pretty sick lick. You can do a lot with that. Shout. Usually when you hear drummers doing like this, I like to do that instead. But it's whatever. They both work, you know? Especially if you put two bass drums after it. Especially if you accent it after. How would you do it with two toms? High, floor, kick, hands. Oh yeah, it would be three, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah. That's sick. Excuse me. Do I have a second crash? No. I mean, I kind of use this as a crash sometimes, but it's definitely a ride. Has it become effortless? Depends on what I'm playing, man, to be honest. You know, if I'm playing with Joey or the Rev, no, it's not. The answer to that is no. Or if I'm playing with Danny, no, it's not effortless. I am very efficient, yes. I don't waste a lot of energy, that's right. I mean, part of that's because I teach for hours a day, you know what I mean? I mean, you got to kind of, just yesterday, I taught and live streamed for like over 6 hours, I'd say. Like both together. I was super tired yesterday. But yeah, man, you got to learn to be efficient, you know? What's up, Eggs? What's up? What do I think about the Rush drummer? I think she's cool, man. I forgot her name. I knew her before she was the Rush drummer. I mean, she got big and everyone found out about her a long time ago when she was doing like the polyrhythmic stuff. She's known for the polyrhythmic stuff, you know? Yeah, her. Yeah, Niles, yeah. She's cool, man. I mean, I ain't got nothing bad to say about her. You know, she knows what big of a job it's going to be to try to play, you know, Pert's stuff and kind of live out that, you know. No one who would want that gig. I mean, geez, good grief. I wouldn't want that gig. Tell you that right now. But hey, hopefully she does a good job with it, and you know, that's all I can say about it. I don't know. Fellow lefty, was it difficult for you to find a teacher? Not really, man. I've always just translated whatever right-handed people did to left. That was never really a problem for me. I don't know why. Just never really had a problem with that. I definitely do get that a lot, yes. A philosopher and a drummer. You know, I mean, I like Pert, you know. R.I.P., man. A whole album of Rush was definitely a lot, though, in my opinion. He definitely played. He definitely put a lot of notes in there all the time, always playing. You know. So I mean, I'd rather listen to Bonham, to be honest with you. I always liked Bonham a lot more than Pert. Because I always like groove guys more than I like lick guys. And Bonham could put Pert in the ground on some groove. Do you somehow enjoy playing the drums? Yes, I somehow enjoy it. I do, yes. Yeah, Kashmir is always fun. And then that part just like. I love Bonham so much. Yeah. Something like that. I can't play Bleed. I'm not that fancy, to be honest. That's one that I can't play. I'm not that fancy at double bass. I ain't got there yet. I know what's happening in Bleed. It's Hurtas, you know? They're playing Hurtas over and over again. Yeah, I can kind of do it with the four tom. But anyways. Yeah. I ain't got to where I can play Hurtas with the feet, to be honest. But hey, we were talking about plateaus earlier. I've been working on my double bass skills a lot more since the beginning of this year. I did it when I was a teenager a lot, but I never really took it seriously. And I was never really that good at it. And so this year, the very beginning of the year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get back into it. And, I've gotten a lot better at it since the beginning of the year. Remember Phil Collins? I love Phil Collins, man. Any non-drummer who has inspired your drumming? No. No, when I was growing up, Travis inspired me a lot. Travis Barker, Bonham, lots of things, lots of guys, man. What's up, Mad? I did play a lot of pop punk growing up, though. LP, which is now my buddy. LP. One of my favorite drummers of all time. Now I have his phone number. So that's a trip. It's a trip and a half. Let's see. Can I play King of Nothing? I know the Metallica version of that. King Nothing. Hey, Gaming Dad. Appreciate the heart me, man. I like just hanging on here and talking with you guys, man. Pop punk, kind of like Joe Jackson. You know LP? Yeah, dude. I love LP. He's such a great guy. Amazing, amazing drummer. Yellow Card shot themselves in the foot hard. Fire and LP. Rockstar. Talking about Nickelback or something. Oh, you live in Jacksonville? Yeah. I got you. My most memorable teacher. I like that question a lot, man. Here locally, I got taught by Bill Brewer, who is the local legend in drum set. And he's still teaching it, 60-something years old, killing it. So Bill Brewer was one of the biggest ones locally. And then another guy named Dr. Monty Coulter, who was another local legend that I studied under when I was in college. That's why I have such good snare chops. But I got taught by a lot of guys, man. Another one of my favorite teachers was Andrew Marsh. I was fortunate enough to get taught by Andrew Marsh, he's in New York now. He's part of that Dial Tone drum company. The drummers who are the innovative thing where you like crank the sides and it either raises or lowers the head, the tension on the head. Pretty cool little drums. I've never played one. It's cool though. Do I know any good drum teachers in Kansas City? I don't, Joseph, but I do teach online, so you don't have to worry about local drum teachers if you don't want to. I will say that, but I am about to be out for like a couple weeks, so I can't really advertise my services like I normally would. Is swiveling? I've never really done the whole swiveling thing. I could see how it could be helpful if you practice it enough. The thing is any technique can be helpful if you practice it the right way and you practice it long enough. But yeah, no, I have no experience with the whole swivel thing, so I can't really speak on that. Do I think it's a good idea? I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like when you see guys playing double bass that way, it's like, do you need a gimmick to be able to play that fast? Just train your damn foot, man. I mean, chill out. Yeah, hill up. Hill up is definitely not a gimmick. Hill up is definitely a very important technique to learn. When it comes to double bass, the one thing I realize more than anything is just like with your hands, it's all about eights, man, okay? There's a reason why the first exercise any marching drummer practices is eighths. Because the more comfortable you are with eighth notes in your hands, the more comfortable you'll be with 16th notes, sustaining it. So this doesn't sound like much, but then if I put that same technique and I alternate it, now you have some decent singles. That's why exercises like this are good. Maybe trade. You can play faster with your fingers, yes. Do I enjoy drums or guitar more? Definitely drums. It looks goofy, plus a lot of the fastest guys use heel toe. Yeah, I mean, I get the whole heel toe thing for sure. Once again, though, it's just a gimmick. I mean, I don't want to step on the double bass guys community's toes, but in my opinion, if you're gonna play it, learn how to play it, big boy. Quit using cute little techniques like heel toe and swivel. Just practice. Not that I'm over here can do it. I'm just saying it's just the same thing as your hands. Like if I'm gonna, in other words, here's the thing. You got to think about it as eighth notes, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. If I can do that with both feet, it's really this simple. If I can do that with both feet, right? Then that means I should be able to play 16th notes and double that speed and alternate. Now see, that's the top of my speed range. Comfortably. I can force myself to go faster, but it won't last very long. But the reason that is because that's also the top of where my eighth notes are with one foot. If I try to go here with this foot, I can get it for a little bit. But then, if I try to, And that's how you get faster. You got to kind of think of it like that. That's how you have to think of it like that, you know? Has teaching made you a better drummer? Yes. Teaching will always make you better at anything you're doing because it makes you think about whatever you're trying to do in lots of different ways. And you also have to learn how to explain things in lots of different ways. And, yeah, you can go faster, won't last very long. Right. There's actually a name for that. It's called bursts. Bursts are when you have really short, fast periods of notes. That's actually how Hertas work. A Herta is essentially a burst manipulated into being something that sounds cool. Because when you play a Herta, you're playing 2 fast notes followed by 2 slower notes. That's why I need to learn how to do that with my feet. I just never practiced it that much. And by that much, I mean at all. But if I was to practice that with my feet, I would start out, you know. Well, see, Hertas require a really good ability to play 3s. Because that's most of what a Herta is. You're just missing that one note at the end. So really, to get better at Hertas, I'd have to practice 3s. I do suck at 3s, to be honest, as you can hear. I suck at 3s. And the reason I suck at 3s is because I also need to practice my doubles with this foot as well. If I'm going to make this foot start and end the idea of the 3, then I need to make sure it's confident. Yeah, I suck at that kind of stuff. That sounds a little weird. That's better. Yeah, exactly. I know what I can do and I know what I can't. That's right. You should always know what you can and can't do as a musician because there's where practice starts. Seriously. If you're ever wondering what to practice, then you got to be aware of what you can't and can't do. And then you work on what you're not as good at. That's what practice is all about, man. That's why you don't have to always be practicing when you play. You can also just play. But it's a balance. It's a balance game. If you want to grow, you have to actually practice. That's the problem. A lot of musicians just play constantly, and that's why they never grow. You know, playing is not practicing, especially the longer you're a musician. I could play all day long, and you can call it practice, and it is somewhat of practice because there's different ways you can practice. There's different ways of thinking about practice. Am I able to practice in my mind? I have heard the science on that. If you're conscious on what you're doing and you're focusing on a specific task, even if you're not doing it, you are technically still practicing. Adam Neely did a video on that. Interestingly enough, he was going to a gig and he hadn't practiced it very much. And supposedly he was thinking about the fretboard while he was driving and practicing the songs on the imaginary fretboard. Dude, remember how good Adam Neely's channel used to be? God, Adam Neely's channel used to be badass. But I can't blame him for now. His channel is not much of nothing. But how long can you sustain that? That's the problem with YouTube, man. The problem with YouTube is it's so hard to sustain. YouTube is so hard to sustain, especially when you're like trying to do like Adam Neely, that high of class of a video. But I've been playing drums since you were 4 and you're now 66. A lot of times you practice in your mind. Hey, man. Cool. That's all I have to say about that. That's cool, brother. But, in reality, drumming is about limbs. So, I mean, to be honest, you're not really doing a whole lot until you're getting your limbs mixed into it. All right. Every instrument is about limbs. Or fingers, whatever. I mean, it's physical is what I'm trying to say. It's about muscles is what I meant to say, not limbs. Social media is like trying to swim upstream to spawn. Almost every fish dies. Man, the thing about social media is you got to find what you like and do it. Like, if you're trying to do something for likes or views, then it's going to die out. But if you actually really truly enjoy what you're doing and you find something that is sustainable, then it ain't gonna die out. And so if you want to keep it moving, like if Adam Neely really wanted to keep it moving, he would have to pivot to something else because he obviously isn't able to sustain what he was doing. You know, that's the reason for the lack of videos, just as an example in that case, you know. I appreciate it, man. I try to be honest and sincere. That's what I try to do, man. I try to be real, you know. Pumpkin. I appreciate the pumpkin. Freaky. That's a pretty funny name. Freaky E. Yeah, for sure, Joseph. For sure. Hey, thanks for the heart me, man. That's all the blast beats I got, man. Hey, thanks for the goats, dude. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm not a big blast beat guy. Yeah. Is there something I can't play no matter how hard I try? I don't know, man. I am a music teacher, yeah. Yeah, I have a music ed degree, and I started this studio, so I teach. That's my main gig. Do you find it easier to play on electric or acoustic? I mean, you know, everyone will tell you that electric is easier to play on for sure, because just for the simple fact that you don't have shells. I mean, you can move so easily from drum to drum to drum. I live in Chattanooga. I'm not in a band per se. I just, you know, people hire me to play, and I play. They give me a set and tell me when and where to be there. And sometimes there's a rehearsal, sometimes there isn't. That's usually the kind of gig I get. I've been, to be honest, I've been looking for more of a band kind of thing, though. That's funny. Yeah, Chattanooga Choo Choo. Yeah. Yeah, we're called hired guns, you know. I mean, my main gig is I play at a church every Sunday. Any musician will tell you church gigs are awesome. Super reliable, obviously, and yeah, church gigs are where it's at, man. Ooh, that's cool. No, they definitely don't feel the same, yeah. Hey, thanks for the follow, dude. Hey, what's y'all's Halloween plans, man? Taking my kids trick-or-treating. Yeah, I'm digging it too, man. Oh man, I've been playing shuffles for years, dude. So time. But if you want a real answer, you got to start out with just basic shuffles, you know? 1, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1. A 3, a 4, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1. You got to learn how to count too. I'm still working on that. 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1. You know? You got to get comfortable with that first. Then you start putting ghosts in there. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1. And it's really counted in triplets, but 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. Yeah, you caught me. I do switch grips a lot. Because, I mean, I learned how to play snare drum. And when you learn how to play snare drum, you play match grip no matter what, you know? That's just how you play snare drum. But in drum set, I've switched between match and French. And sometimes I'll even do both like a weirdo. I tell people all the time, learn how to play match and French. You know? You mean like drum and bass or something? I wish I knew how to play drum and bass better. Yeah. There's that one Primus beat that's what? What's that one Primus beat that happens over and over and over again in that one song? Oh, it's such a cool beat. Yeah, that's my dad. Yeah, Artisan Tony. Yeah. He made it pretty big on YouTube a long time ago, and he still lives off that to this day because he's a contractor and he does drafting work, and he literally finds clients all the time still off YouTube. So I'm really glad that worked for him because now he's basically retired and still does work for people off YouTube. But yeah, that's my dad. Yeah, that's cool. You know him. Yeah, gun videos. Yeah. Yep. That's who I am. Yep. That's one reason why I got on TikTok. Because I was tired of just being known as Artisan Tony's son. I mean, I love my dad, but you know, I wanted my own thing, you know. When you were a kid, everyone wanted to learn how to play Wipeout. That's good. Wipeout teach you a lot of singles. A lot of singles with accents and stuff. And then the 50s beat. Bass, snare, snare, bass, snare, bass, snare, snare, bass, snare, bass, snare, snare, bass, snare. What's that Primus song I was talking about, though? I want to play that beat. What is that beat that happens over and over again in that one Primus song? What is it? I want to play it now. It's a weird case where he just plays the same beat the whole dang time. Oh, you're right. That one does it too. No, not that one though. It's like I never learned that. I need to learn it though. That's my interpretation of it. I need to learn it. I need to learn that one for sure though, because I love me some Steve Gadd. I haven't learned enough actual Gadd licks. I just know of Steve Gadd, and he's one of the freaking most best beast groove drummers of all time. Gosh. Hey, thanks for the pumpkin. Appreciate it, man. That's pretty hard. Yeah, I know. I like to put my ride over here. Yeah. But, you know, you can't really do much about that with electric kits. So most of the time I just use this as a ride. What's up, Kevin? Oh, don't watch my posture now. My posture is actually really bad. What's up, Noah? Thanks for the follow, man. Company is what you say about society. The world is young and life upbeat. Maybe I should right. All right. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Play Caravan. That sounds like Minivan. I mean, I know all the cats in the chat music scene for the most part. It's trying to truck along, right? I don't know. All I can tell you is I haven't been hit up in about 2 years for a gig, and y'all can see how good I am. What does that mean? I'm not really sure. You know, I mean, I got 2 little kids. I'm not able to be in the scene as much. I still know all the cats. They still don't hit me up. So I'm salty about my scene. Let's just put it that way, all right? I studied drums for about a year. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think it's just mainly they know that I like. They just put me in like in the box of like, oh, that guy teaches. You know, I'm the teacher. They think of me as a teacher. They think of me as a teacher. You know what I mean? Oh, he teaches. He's good. We don't need to hit him up for gigs. He teaches. He's good. Because they also know my studio does pretty well. So that's probably one reason why they don't hit me up. They're like, hey, this dude's doing just fine with his teaching studio. He don't need us to invite him to gigs. You know, I think that's a little bit part of it, to be honest. The other part is just, to be honest, I'm not able to gig that much. I want to gig more. Do I have a recording studio? No. I mean, I can record stuff, but it's you know, it's not going to be bad quality at all, but you know, it's not going to be professionally like, you know. Yeah, there you go, Sammy. Exactly. Same here. My gig is Sunday services every week. That's right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess that's the good point. I mean, I don't reach my neck around to get these gigs that are in chat. You know what I mean? So I shouldn't be complaining that no one hits me up because I don't reach my neck out, you know? Because that's a good point. I mean, it's a lot of work for $125. And, you know, the last gig I had quoted to me was like 50. And I was like, bro, come on, man. What am I supposed to do with that? All right. The thing about my scene is a lot of guys are doing just like drum machines now. Yeah. For sure. I can play drum and bass pretty well, though. Playing around, man. I need to look and see when my next student is. I know I'm getting out of here early, so should be coming up. I only got 2 left. Yeah, let's see. It's 3, so it must be 3:30. Could be 4, I guess. I don't know. I need to look at the schedule. Yeah, I mean, I like these streams though, where I don't actually play any music. And I just like talk to you guys and answer questions and stuff. I like these kind of streams. They're fun. $100 for 1 hour music lesson. No. I wish. Okay, you said an hour. Okay. That's not too far off. Yeah, New York has always been on the 50, 100. I mean, that's been the rate in music lessons in big cities for a long time, actually. I'm surprised it's not more than that. $50 for 30 minutes and $100 for an hour. That's been a thing for a long time in the big cities. So yeah. No, I mean in Chattanooga it's smaller. I mean, I tested $40 for a little bit for 30 minutes. And that didn't go as well as I wanted it to. So I went back to 35, and 35 is a great rate. I like 35. It's a comfortable rate. It works for 2025. I started out at 20 over 10 years ago. Started out at 20 for 30 minutes, went to 25, went to 30, went to 33, and now I'm at 35. But that took many, many years. So, what drummer inspired my style? I like that question. Yeah, all the drummers that I listened to growing up inspired my style. Yeah, especially lots of System of a Down. I played lots of System of a Down growing up. Lots and lots of System of a Down. Yo, Ryan in the house, man. Y'all want to go watch a freaking dude who shreds a guitar. Ryan freaking shreds, man. Yeah. Do I ever teach over? Yeah, I do. I do online over live video. Yeah. I charge $35 per lesson. I mean, I'm not going to charge y'all any less or any more. It's a time thing. So, $35 per lesson. I've always charged by the lesson, although you can pay however you want. I've always offered people to pay by the lesson. I don't know why people in my industry feel like they have to have a whole month up front. Who are you? A music teacher? Who do you think you are? I mean, good grief. What are you, a lawyer? I've never made people do that. So I do a lot of things different than the industry, man. That's one reason why my studio does so well. I don't force theory down people's throats. I don't force notation down people's throats, especially drummers. I make it really practical. It's not like I'm being a redneck. It's not that I'm not going to teach you how to read or teach you very specific academic things. But I get you playing, bro. I get you having fun with it. I get my kids playing stuff like this. I get my kids playing 4. I get them playing all kinds of fun stuff. You ask what is the first thing I teach a beginner to do on drums? It depends on what age the student is. If they're very young, it's just foot hands all day. I mean, I had a couple like that today already. Foot hands, baby. Foot hands as long as it takes. And then you put the hi-hat with the bass after that. Now you got a regular 2-pattern groove, 2-4. Then you teach them, all right, that's good. Now you've learned all the mechanics you need to play 4. And so you finally get them into 4. 4-4. I just call it 4 to keep it simple. And then, all along the way, I'm teaching them the names. I'm teaching them how to move around the drums, teaching them flams, teaching them groups. I just call them groups. All this sort of subdivision stuff is great, but if you're teaching kids, you don't want to call it subdivisions and start throwing all these names out right away. It's too much. It's too much, man. It's just too much, man. But eventually I say, hey, those things I called groups of 2s, they're actually 1/8 notes. Eventually I'll explain all that, I get students playing music, man. That's the thing. Like, teachers forget, you didn't start music to learn about quarter notes and 1/8 notes. And I'm not sitting here saying that stuff is not important. Don't get me wrong. I'm a music teacher. I have a freaking degree, for crying out loud. I know a lot about music theory. But I'm also very practical. And I know how to keep a student's passion alive. And I also learned over time, like most teachers hopefully do, the passion for the instrument is way more important than all this information you're trying to scram down their throats. All right? Their passion for the instrument is number one. That's your number one. As long as you keep the passion alive, you've then done your job, especially depending on how old the student is. With that being said, obviously I educate the student as much as I possibly can, okay? It's a very educational thing. We don't come in here and hit drums and call it a day. I don't even like to call it hitting drums. I like to tell people we don't hit drums, we play drums. There's a big difference there. The first being rebound. If you hit a drum, there's nothing musical about that. If you play a drum, you're using rebound. So everything I do is in the context of getting you to play music and have fun, but at the same time, it's also secretly, hey, check out this and check out this, Trying to instill the lifelong love of music in your students, right? Yes. Or keep there. See, teaching has never been about what can I do for you to a degree, right? It's always been about what do you have in you and how can I get that out of you more and more, right? So how can I give you the tools that you need because it's all about who you are as a musician. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about who you are as a musician. That's what teaching is about. And a lot of teachers will never learn that, man. What's my degree in? Music education. I have a degree in music education, 2016. Yeah. And I started this studio after I got the degree. So, yeah, you know, I have lots of philosophies about teaching music and music in general and teaching. It's not that I think experience is more important than theory. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm saying theory is bad. Music theory is bad. It's that you have to learn to frame theory in the right respects. Like when I teach a student a 4 groove, I literally teach them 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? And see, that would freak a lot of teachers out. They would say, red flag, those are eighth notes, and they're supposed to be counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I know that. Okay, I know how to write. I freaking wrote a book, for crying out loud. All right. But here's the deal. When you're first teaching a student 4, is it more valuable for them to know how to count it accurately as eighth notes? Or is it more valuable for them to be able to connect it and hear what they're doing and be able to relate to that in the music, or be able to relate to this pattern when you're hearing a guitar play or a bass play? And then eventually down the line, you tell a student, once you start talking about what subdivisions are, yeah, this is eighth notes that we've been playing all along. And those eighth notes are actually counted a specific way. But the point is the more you understand 4, the more you can start doing. The thing is my philosophy, and this has always been this way, it's why people come to me for lessons. I get you playing, and then we talk about what you're doing over time. Because you got to get something in your muscle memory. That's right. You got to get something in your muscle memory first, man. That's what it's all about. You got to get it in those muscles first before you can really contemplate all the fancy schmancy words that we label everything as, all right? Which you need to understand where 1 is. Like, you need to understand all these things. You need to understand what a measure is. But think about how abstract a lot of these concepts are that you're trying to throw down the student's throat. Like measure, for example, especially to a drum set player. What in the world is a measure, right? And so that's why when I teach, I tell students, think about it like 5 minutes. What is 5 minutes? 5 minutes is not really anything if you really think about it. Any unit of measurement is just a unit of measurement we've all agreed upon. It doesn't actually mean anything, right? And so, an inch is only an inch because we agree that it's an inch. It's a unit of measurement. And so you get used to about how long 5 minutes is just because you've been living a long time and you recognize it, right? So that's kind of how a measure works for a musician. They don't actually mean anything in reality, but they're how we measure time in music. That's what a measure is. It measures time in music, and it allows organization to happen in music. And so it's about 4 beats generally, depends, but it's about 4 beats generally, and that's when you get into the whole time signature thing. But usually I don't talk about that right away because I try to do everything I can to relate where the student is to where I'm trying to take them. You see? As soon as you lose a student, now teaching has now closed. You close the doors. Okay? As soon as you lose them for all your fancy jargon, now they can't understand what you're saying. Now you're not teaching anymore. Now you're just blabbering. So you have to constantly read a student and constantly be thinking about where they are and where you want to take them. And you got to take their hand and get them there, man. That's what teaching is all about. You've been at work for 5 hours. Have you really been live for 5 hours? No, Zach. No. I got back on. This is my second live stream. Yeah, exactly. But the problem with that though is if I'm being a little if I'm going to bark back at that a little bit, here's what I got for you on that though. You got to be careful about verbal sentence because a phrase in music is what we consider a musical sentence is called a phrase. And the difference is a phrase is a group of measures, right? So that's why I like what you're saying. But there's a little bit more that goes into that because one measure is not a phrase. So you can't really call one measure a sentence. You know what I'm saying? But that's where you get into things like 2-bar phrasing and 4-bar phrasing, right? Which I do teach students. I teach students 2-bar phrasing and 4-bar phrasing. Now, Zach, here's the thing that's crazy. I'm not saying that reading is actually that important to drummers anyways, okay? It depends on how far you want to go in this game. It depends on what you're trying to do. You know what I mean? Like I can read because I take myself to the nth degree of every single thing in music. I learn about it and love it. I've been doing that for many, many years. And I also love snare drum, so I learned how to read snare drum music and really complicated stuff in snare drum because I had to study that in college. I even had to learn how to read mallet stuff. So I'm just a different animal, bro. Like, you don't have to learn how to read to play drum set. I will tell you this, though. If you do learn how to read better, it'll help you be a better drum set player only because it's like anything else in any other language. If you learn how to read something, then you can see it more in your head, all right? If I can read it, then I can see it in my head. I'm now giving it a visual reference. Think about it. If I say the word there, you can see there in your head. But if you only know how to say it and repeat it, you can't see it in your head. So the biggest reason why reading is important to a drum set player in particular is because it gives you a visualization that you can think in your head as you're playing, some kind of reference. That's why I usually almost always use net notation for drum set students as a reference to something. They're not really reading per se, like measure, 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 although there's nothing wrong with that as well, okay? That's got its own merit. Typically, you don't need to read things measure by measure by measure as a drum set player unless it's complicated. If it's got enough changes and things, then fine. You need a score, okay? But otherwise, you just need a couple of references of different grooves, you know? Rhythm is a very hard word. Yeah, you got me there. I guess spelling is yeah, but even in jazz notation, they just write a couple of things and then they put little lines and then they'll put like fill over the measure because or they'll represent the hits as rhythms. That's what they do in jazz music. Like you'll be playing and you'll see like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Well, you'll see like eighth notes like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. You'll see and 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. In other words, even in jazz music, they only notate the hits for percussionists, unless it's a style change, and then it'll be like Latin, and then they'll try to write some Latin groove on there. But most of the time, we just disregard it, and we're like, yeah, I'm just going to listen and just play. That's the funniest thing about percussion is almost all the time percussion parts are not even written that well anyways. And so we almost just, as percussionists, get used to being like, yeah, that's cool. Okay, I get where you're going with that. And then we make up our own part anyways. Why? Because percussion has always been about listening, feeling, and reacting. It will always be about that. Percussion will always be about listening, feeling, and reacting. So, and that's why notation isn't a bad thing, right? But it isn't 100% necessary for a drum set player, but it is a good thing to learn how to do if you're trying to teach or if you're trying to understand the instrument at a higher degree, like understanding rhythms at a higher degree. Reading will help you understand rhythms at a higher degree. All right? So, yeah, it's very primal. That's right. Yeah. Dude, use of days is so intense, man. Yo, Johnny, thanks for the follow, man. You want to know my thoughts on what, buddy? I mean, it's a balance, man. Oh, yeah? What's the song you recorded? I do sometimes get drummers who are adults come up for just technique tune-up. The problem is adults don't like to commit to that kind of thing very often. That's one of those things where adults will say they want better technique, but they'll take like a lesson or two. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really want better technique, it takes a constant dedication of I got to get on the pad every single day and have these different exercises that I do with good technique with the metronome. You know, starting with just basic singles, doubles, paradiddles, different types of paradiddles. All of this stuff takes practice, man. Accents. But hey, guys, my student's here. So thanks for hanging out. Have a good one.